To represent different kinds of data item, I require data types. The C++ data types can be derived into 3 different types. Floating number, that's nothing but the single precision. And if I have this kind of number, then it is nothing but the double precision. Hello, hi, namaste. A warm welcome to my new session on data type. I'm Revati, faculty, Department of Computer Science, Vidyashram Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. In today's session, we are going to study some of the important things about the data types. Before going to start my today's session, let me to recall the things what we learned in my previous session. In my previous session, I started with introduction. That means if I want to write any program, I must have certain basic unit. With the help of basic unit, I can able to write the program. Then we had discussion regarding variables. So what is variable? The name itself indicates that it is an element or it's an object, and the value which is stored in the variable can vary during the execution or during the running of the program. So here variables are mainly used to denote the memory address. Then we had discussion regarding how to declare the variable. How we can able to declare the variable, that is with the help of data type, specify the variable name. This is the way you can able to declare the variables. Then we had discussion regarding how to initializing a variable. Now we learned how to initializing the variable. How can I? That is, once again, I'll write the data type, say it is integer. Then I'll write the variable name, number, and I'm going to assign the value 100. This is the way I can able to initialize the variables. Then here number represents the memory address and 100 is stored in the memory. And if I want to access 100, how can I access? That is with the help of number. So these are the basic things about the variables. In my today's class, we are going to study some more important information about data types. That is, we are going to study what is data type, the classification of data type, then the different types of data types like derived data types, user-defined data types, and enumerated data types. Along with that, we are going to study C++ enumerated type conversion rule. That means how to convert the enumerated data types. Instead of wasting much of time, directly moving on to the topic data type. So what is this data type? What is the need of data type in C++ programming language? So here data type is nothing but the particular kind of data item. I repeat, here data type is nothing but the particular kind of data item. So what is data item here? Let's consider the example that consider my name. So I'm going to consider the name, consider the age, or consider my weight, or consider my height. These are the different kinds of data item. If I consider name and it is of type text, If I consider name, it is of type text, and if I consider age, then it is of type number. If I consider height or weight, then it is of type, once again, number. And to represent different kinds of data item, I required data types. So what is data type here? It is nothing but the different kinds of data item. So data type can be defined as set of value. So what the meaning of data type? Here data type is nothing but the set of value. It may be a text or number, etc., which can be stored in a variable along with the operations that can be performed on those value. So what is data type here? It is nothing but the set of values, and that is stored in the variable. Example, think that int age equal to 29. So here age is nothing but the value, and where I'm going to store in the variable called age, and it's of type number. To represent number, I'm going to have integer data type. The main aim of C++ program is to manipulate the data. That means in C++, if I want to manipulate the data, what I required? Once again, I required data types. So C++ defines several types of data, and each type has unique character. For example, if I consider different person, and how can I identify the person? With their nature or with their character. Similarly, if I consider C++ programming data type, then each data type is different. That means due to their characteristics, each data types are treated as differently. Then the C++ data types can be derived into 3 different types. I repeat, the C++ data types are classified into 3 different types. In that, first one, fundamental data type, second one, derived data type, and third one, user defined data type. So how many type of data types I'm going to have here? That is 3. What are the 3? That is fundamental data types. That is nothing but the basic data type. Then I'm going to have derived data type and user defined data type. Now consider what is fundamental data types. That is nothing but the simple data type, or most commonly used data types are called fundamental data types. That means if I want to derive any data type, I must have fundamental data types. Then what are the fundamental data types I have? That is integer, float, character, string. These are the example for fundamental data type. So the fundamental data types are built-in data type. So what is built-in data type? That is nothing but the fundamental data types. And the simple or fundamental data types are the primary data types. So here the fundamental data types is also called built-in data type or primary data type, which are not composed of any other data type. That means the fundamental data types are not composed with any other data type. Then the simple data types or fundamental data types includes integer, character, float, double, and void. Then there are 3 different types of data types, that is fundamental data types, derived data types and user defined data type. So dear student, from the examination point of view, this is also very important question. So what is data type and what are the different kinds of data type we are going to have here? That is, we are going to have 3 different kinds of data type. The first and simple data type is called fundamental or primary or built-in data type, and second one it is derived data type, and third one user defined data type. If I consider fundamental data type, I'm going to have integer, character, float, double, void and boolean. So what is integer? Think that I have some numbers, say 10, 20, 100, 1000. So what it represents? It's nothing but the number. And to store this kind of numbers, I required some particular data item. That is nothing but the integer data type. So what is character? Here characters are capable to store only one letter at a time. There are certain situations that I want to display the grade. Say A grade, B grade, C grade, D. In that situation, what I required? I required character data type. And in some situation, I want to represent some fractional values, say 10.25 or 100.50. Then what I required here? I required floating point data type, and I have double, void, boolean. Okay, so here the double is once again it is used to represent floating point number or fractional value. Then what about void data type? There are certain situations when we does not want to return anything. In that time, I can able to use void data type. Then what is boolean? There are certain situations I want to represent true or false value. What I want to represent? I want to represent this is true or this is false. In that time, what I will do? I'm going to take the help of Boolean data type. Then, if I comes to derived data type, I'm going to have arrays, functions, pointers, and references. So, what is array here? It is a collection of homogeneous element. For example, think that I have digit which starts from 0 to 9. How can I represent? If I have only one digit, then I can able to take integer data type. If I have more than one numbers, then how can I store? That is, with the help of array, I can able to store homogeneous element. That is nothing but only same kind of element I can able to store. For example, think that it is of type integer, then I can able to store only integer number. Or if it is of character, then I can able to store only character. In the sense, I cannot mix character as well as number. Then I'm going to have function. That means I can able to create my own function, or I can able to use the built-in function. Then pointer. So what is pointer here? That is nothing but the variables which holds the address of another variable, and I'm going to have the references. Anyway, we are going to study this derived data type in our upcoming session. But at present, what is derived data types? That means we are going to construct these data type by using fundamental data types. Then I'm going to have user defined data type. That means user can able to create their own data types. Then what are the different kinds of user defined data types I'm going to have? That is structure, union, class and enumeration. So these are the 4 different types of user defined data types we are going to have, and we are going to study all those things in my upcoming sessions. But at present, you must know what is user data type. That means user can able to create their own data type by using fundamental data types. And what are the different types of user defined data types I'm going to have? That is structure, union, class, and enumeration. Moving further, I'm going to have the integer data type. So the int type is used to store integer value. So what is integer here? It is nothing but the whole number. Say 10, 20, 30, 100, 1000, 50,000. Okay, so these are the whole number. To store whole number, I required particular data type. That is nothing but the integer. But in short, it is int. Instead of writing integer, I'm going to use int number or int age, etc. This includes numbers such as 1, 45. In the sense, I can able to store positive number as well as negative number, and I cannot able to store fractional values. In the sense, if I write 52, yes, it is valid. If I write 100, then it is also valid. And if I write minus 100, then also it is valid. If I write 6.25, then it is invalid. In the sense, the integer data type can capable to store only the whole numbers. The integer can be positive or negative values. And what is the range? It is minus 32,786 to plus 32,767. Then an integer is allocated to byte. That means what is the memory capacity or what is the size of int here is it holds 2 byte. So 2 byte in the sense it is 16 bit of memory space. So what is bit? It is 0 or 1. And 1 byte equal to 8 bits. Here I have 2 bytes, that is 2 into 8, it is 16 bits of memory space. And what is the syntax? How can I use int in my program? That is, use the data type. What's the data type here? It is integer. Specify the variable name. Along with that, I can consider the example. So int a comma b equal to 5. That means I can able to declare the variable. At the same time, I can able to initialize the values for the variables. Then I'm going to have character data type. So it is a character data type capable to store one character at a time. That means I can able to store any kind of one character at a time. So it is a character data type to store any character from the basic character set. If I consider character set, then I have uppercase A to Z, lowercase A to Z, then I can consider digit, then I can able to consider some special symbols. So the characters are enclosed in a single quote. That means if I want to represent character, then how can I represent? For example, think that I want to represent A in the form of character, then I'm going to write A between single quote and Z. So this is the way I can able to represent the character. When a variable of type character is defined, the compiler convert character to the ASCII equivalent. So dear student, just remember that Whenever I use any character type in my program, then what's the job of the compiler here? It is going to convert the character to its ASCII equivalent values. A character is allocated only 1 byte. That means if I declare character, then it's going to occupy only 1 byte of memory space. That is nothing but 8 bits. A character is represented in a program by the keyword character. That means if I want to declare the data item in the form of character type, then how can I? With the help of character keyword. Then what is the general form or syntax I'm going to have? That is character variable list. Then what's the example? That is character and variable name is alpha, and I'm going to store A in the alpha. Moving further, I'm going to have floating type. Initially, we started with what is integer. So what is integer? So here integers are mainly used to store the numbers. Suppose if I have any fractional numbers, then what can I do? I can able to use floating type. So this represents the number with fractional part, that is nothing but the real number. That means there are certain situation I want to represent real numbers. In that time, I'm going to make use of floating point data types. For example, I can consider 1.8 or 10.25 or it is 100.75, etc. Even I can able to consider negative values. That means by using floating point data type, I can able to store positive numbers as well as negative real numbers. It can also be both positive and negative. Then float is allocated 4 bytes. That means if I define floating point data type, then it is going to occupy 4 bytes of memory. So how many bytes of memory the float data type is going to use? That is nothing but the 4 byte of memory. That is 4 into 8, that is 32 bits. So float is allocated 4 bytes of memory space. And what's the general form I'm going to have? That is, I'm going to use the keyword float and I'm going to specify the variable name. And what's the example? Float A equal to 5.5 or 10.10 or 100.25. So these are the example for floating data type. Then I'm going to have double. Now see the difference here. If I consider floating point, I can able to store only one floating point. Then what's the need of double here? The double and float are very similar. That means if I use floating point, it's also correct. And if I use double, then it's also correct. The float type allows you to store single precision point. That means if I use floating point number, then I can able to store single precision point, say 10.25. And if I use double keyword, then I can able to store double precision floating point number. What's the difference here? If I use floating point, then I can able to store single precision number. And if I use double, then I can able to store double precision. The size is typically 8 bytes of memory space. That means if I define or use double data type, then what's the memory allocation I required here? That is 8 byte. In the sense 8 into 8, it is 64 bits. Then the range of double type is minus 1.7 E3082 plus 1.7 E308. And the general form, first I'm going to write the data type and I'm going to declare the variables. Then consider the example here, that is double A equal to 5.5 E minus 7. So I can able to write 5.5 into 10 raised to the power minus 7. That means here I have 2, that is nothing but the double precision point. If I have only 5.5, then it is floating number, that is nothing but the single precision. And if I have this kind of number, then it is nothing but the double precision. Moving further, I'm going to have the void data type. So what is void? The void data type has no values and no operation. In the sense, if I want to define that I does not have any value or I does not hold any value, to represent that, I'm going to have the void data type, and it does not perform any operation. In other words, both of these set of values and set of operations are empty. That means if I use the data type void, then both the words, in the sense the values as well as operations, both are empty. And this is the example, void main function. And when I'm going to use the keyword, when the main function does not want to return any values, in that time I'm going to use the data type, that is void. Then I'm going to have the modifier. So what is modifier and why I require modifier? So C++ allows basic or fundamental data types like int or character or double data types. Then I can able to use these data types with the modifier. That means along with this data type, I can able to specify the modifier. So the modifiers are used to alter the meaning of the base type. Suppose there are certain situation I want to change the meaning of basic data type, then how can I alter? To alter that, I'm going to have the modifier. Then what are the kinds of modifiers I'm going to have? That is signed, unsigned, long and short. So I'm going to have 4 different types of modifiers. What are those? It is signed, unsigned, long and short. Why I required modifier? There are certain time I want to modify the actual meaning of fundamental data types. In that time, I require modifiers. Then I'm going to have the derived data types. These data types are constructed or created using basic or primary or fundamental data types. In that, I'm going to have arrays, functions, pointers and references. So dear student, for time being, you must know what is derived data type, and example for derived data type is arrays, functions, pointers and reference. Anyway, we are going to study all 4 topics in depth in my future class. Then I'm going to have user defined data type. That means user can able to create their own data type by using simple or fundamental data types. Then what are the different kinds of user defined data type I'm going to have? That is structure, union, class and enumerated. And Anyway, we are going to study what is structure, what is union, and what is class, and what is the need of user defined data types in my future class. But at present, you must know what is user defined data types and the example for user defined data type. Anyway, we are going to study enumerated data types in depth in my today's session. So, what is enumerated data types? An enumeration is a user defined data type. As we know that user can able to create their own data type according to their wish. They can create their own data type by using fundamental data type, and the best example here is enumerated data types, and it consists of set of named constant. So what is enumeration here? It is example for user data type. Along with that, it includes some set of named constants called enumerator. To create enumerator data type, I'm going to use the keyword enum. How I'm going to create enumerator data type? That is with the help of enum keyword, I can able to create enumerated data types. So according to the definition, we know that it is a set of named constant. And how the values are assigned here? If I use enum keyword, that assigns the values 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to n automatically. This helps in providing an alternative means for creating symbolic constant. That means if we want to provide any alternative meaning for the symbolic constant, then how can I create? That is with the help of enumerator. Now consider the syntax here. So at the beginning, I'm going to have data type called enumerator. Then I'm going to use the word tag, that is nothing but the variable or enumerator variable name, and I'm going to specify the enumerator list. So now consider the example here. So initially I'm going to have the keyword enum, there is nothing but the enumerator, and I'm going to specify the choice. So what kind of choice? You're going to specify, that is return in the enumerator list. So what are the choice I have here? Very bad or satisfactory or good or very good or excellent. So these are the choice, and where I'm going to store? In the enumerator variable called choice. And how I'm going to use it? So for this choice, I'm going to create another variable, that is my choice. First, I'm going to create the enumerator list. For that, I'm going to create the enumerator, and for that enumerator, once again, I'm going to create the variables. Now, how can I convert? That is C++ enumerator type conversion rules. That means how can I convert enumerator type, and what are the rules I want to follow? These rules apply to C++ only. That means whatever the rules we are going to discuss now, that is applicable to only C++ programming language. There is an implicit conversion from any enumerator type to int. And if I consider enum, and what is the variable here? It is my enum type. And what is my enum list? That is alpha, beta and gamma. In the sense, alpha value is equal to 0 and beta equal to 1 and gamma equal to 2, and it is assigned automatically. And here alpha takes the value 0, beta takes the value 1 and gamma takes the value 2. If I write int I equal to beta, then what I'm going to get? I'm going to get the beta value. So what is the beta value here? It is 1. And if I write j equal to 3 plus gamma, so what's the value for gamma here? It is 2. 2 plus 3, it is 5. And on the other hand, C++ does not support an implicit conversion. That means I cannot able to convert the data types implicitly. So here if I write my enum type x equal to 2, because this is my enumerator, and I'm going to create the variable for my enumerator, then I'm going to assign the value. So it is wrong. And once again, what I did here, I used my enumerator. For that, I'm going to create the variable and I'm going to assign the value. This is also wrong. That means implicitly I cannot able to convert the type. So these are the certain rules I want to follow while creating enum. So dear student, in my today's session I started with what is data type, and we had discussion regarding the different types of data types like fundamental data types, derived data types and user data types. I hope in today's session you got more information about the data types. Let's meet in the next session with some more information about C++ programming. Until then, keep learning and keep watching. Thank you.